What aren't we talking enough about?
The infrastructure investments that the world is going to have to make to deliver AI at the scale that people want it.
And that is going to mean a lot more computers, a lot more chips. Which pieces are ready and which pieces are not?
None of the pieces are ready at the scale we're going to need.
All right. Whether or not it was one of the factors that led the board to do what it did, one of the criticisms of you, and there were a few criticisms of you during that time, was that, there's all this stuff that OpenAI is doing. Why are you off, raising money for startups, building other things? Why aren't you spending 100% of your time on these big issues that are confronting OpenAI? Why are you continuing to raise money for things that aren't OpenAI and invest?
They are OpenAI. I think there was this misrepresentation, not hard to guess by who, but that I was off in the Middle East raising money for this chip effort, and that it was somehow like a SAM project. It was like an OpenAI project that the board had decided was a clear strategic priority, and it's not a separate thing. So I'm not gonna go try to fight everything in the press, because you all will do your thing, and I respect that. But that was wildly misreported. These are critical to OpenAI efforts. I don't invest much in personal startups anymore. I don't invest personally much in startups. I do support the ones that I invested in. If there's a startup that I supported and they're raising more money, I try to continue to support. But I don't think of myself as an investor anymore. I have some ongoing obligations, but this is what I'm doing. OpenAI is what I'm doing.
So Bloomberg reports Sam Altman is in talks to raise money for a global production of AI chips. Now, back in December, when we were following the whole AI drama with Sam Altman being fired/quitting, that whole story arc, him coming back, one of the things that kind of surfaced, one of the details that was leaked, is that it seemed like Sam Altman was trying to covertly raise money for this secretive AI chip, this next generation AI chip that he was going to manufacture. So I did a video on this back in December, and at the time, the story as it was told at the time, the story was that Sam Altman flew to the Middle East and worked with Saudi Arabia-backed funds like Prosperity 7 Ventures, and there was a lot of other money from other countries and other funds kind of mixed in there. So some of it was part of the state-owned Saudi Aramco. So basically there's tons of Middle East oil money that Sam Altman was trying to connect with manufacturers to build this brand new chip. And we'll talk about the chip in just a second, because that in itself is kind of wild, exactly what they're building, because it's not just another AI chip. It's in a category of its own. It's a neuromorphic chip. We'll get to that in just a second. But the point is there's this gargantuan amounts of money in the Middle East, a lot of it made from oil, that is looking to diversify into future technologies, into tech, into AI. So basically get away of being reliant on oil and invest in the future technologies for the next hundreds of years. So it sounds like the deal was going through, money was being invested, and the US government, specifically the CFIUS, which is the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. So it has the power to basically kill deals that are deemed a threat to national security. So it comes in, kills the deal, pulls the money out, and kind of almost gives it back because they are concerned with some of the people in the Middle East and potentially even China, it sounds like, where they just didn't want them too close to these AI chips. So what are these chips that got everybody so hot and bothered? Well, the name of the company that is developing them is Rain Neuromorphics, and these are neuromorphic chips. What are neuromorphic chips? Well, basically all the chips we have right now, GPUs, NVIDIA, etc., they're basically like computer chips. They're digital chips. The neural nets, this AI that we build, they're kind of an abstraction of the human brain. They have these neurons and synapses, or at least the digital equivalent of that. And they're all trained and ran on these digital chips, these computer chips that are, at the end of the day, are just ones and zeros. They're binary, they're digital. On sort of the other side of digital, we have analog. So instead of being ones and zeros, instead of being pixels, it's a spectrum. So basically a simple way of thinking about analog is it's like how the world is. It's continuous, it's fluid, whereas digital, it's made up of little sort of pieces, right? So when you're looking at a computer screen, there's a finite amount of colors that are mixed together, but there's like a certain amount of colors, whereas in the real world, it's an infinity of colors. So digital is kind of an abstraction of the real world that we build on computers. So the neural nets is a digital abstraction of the human brain, analog versus digital. And all our chips, all our computers, they're sort of quote unquote digital. At the end of the day, they're ones and zeros. And RAIN neuromorphic chips, they're trying to build the analog equivalent of that. Because when we're trying to run these neural nets, these AIs, these digital representations of the analog human brain, so we're taking something that's supposed to be analog, we're running it on digital chips. The idea is that we have analog chips to run these neural networks, to run the AIs on. It'll be much cheaper, it'll consume less energy, it'll be much faster, etc. So RAIN Neuromorphics has taped out a demonstration chip for its brain-inspired analog architecture that employs a 3D array of randomly connected memristors or memory resistors to compute neural network training and inference at extremely low power. So training is kind of like when they're making the neural net, the brain of GPT-4 or whatever, and inference is, when they ask a question, it responds. That's the inference, that's the output that it's doing. So they're saying that using these analog brain-inspired chips instead of things like the GPU, the NVIDIA chips, which are digital, will massively reduce the cost and memory that is needed to train and run inference of these neural nets. So switching to entirely analog hardware for AI computation could allow a massive reduction in power consumed by AI workloads. While some commercial chips currently use some analog portions of it, but it's not fully analog and you still have to convert back and forth, which creates issues. So CMOS layer, so this is basically a semiconductor, the material that is used at the bottom of the chip, that represents the neurons, like the neurons in our brains. Columns built using the vertical bit lines borrowed from flash arrays represent axons. So here's the neuron. The axons are like these electrical wires that carry the signal away from sort of the neuron. The columns are then coated in memristive material. This just means that as it turns on and off, when there's no power running, it remembers what position it was on. So when you flip the power off, it doesn't just reset. Randomly configured dendrites link the axons, connecting neurons to each other. So the dendrite is the thing that sends and receives signals from other neurons to the nucleus of this neuron. Randomly configured dendrites link the axons, connecting neurons to each other. The point where a dendrite in any layer touches a column can be thought of as a synapse. Here's probably the best picture I can find. So this is the synapse. This is the connection between the two neurons, although there's a gap between them. That it's not a full connection, but that's where they exchange information. So this is kind of the center of the nucleus. The axon is like wiring that carries the information away from it. The synapse is the connection to another neuron, and so forth. And this is kind of what they're describing here. The reason I kind of go into that detail is because a lot of the progress in AI that we've seen in these recent years seems to be because of our ability to recreate the brain, the human brain. So this is Geoffrey Hinton. That's one of his kind of big ideas that he kept pushing for even when it wasn't that popular. This idea that the progress in AI that we're going to make will come from replicating or mimicking the human brain, the neural nets of the human brain. And so here's the RAIN Neuromorphics CTO, Jack Kendall, is saying it's very brain-like, honestly, and we are quite proud of that. It's the same structure as axons and dendrites in the brain. We don't think you can get much better than this. And here's kind of a picture of what that chip looks like. I mean, this is kind of a blurry image that they have, and this is kind of how we sort of visualize how the neurons connect. And I apologize if we're going too deep on this one thing, but this seems pretty fascinating. Because so right now, the dendrite connections that they make in the chip, they're kind of randomly dispersed throughout the chip. So like all these things, like how they connect to each other is kind of random. And the reason that they kind of refer to it as random is like they don't want to have a regular pattern because they're going to introduce their own kind of a bias or assumptions into how you think that information should be processed. So they're kind of starting it with random, but the goal is to discover the best and most optimal pattern for that placement. And so RAIN's algo will eventually determine the best connection patterns. But right now, the company is focused on two different approaches. One is known as sparsity patterns, but the other approach is to start with kind of biological motifs. So basically looking at how does the human brain, how does nature tend to build those connections, and maybe kind of use that as inspiration. And he's saying we know that these are all properties of biological brains. And a lot of people have hypotheses about how they're implemented in brains and what their function is. We can immediately begin testing a bunch of different patterns and we'll be able to see what works and what doesn't. The reason that this is interesting is because we might have a lot of this stuff eventually provide a lot of clues back to neuroscience, back to studies of the human brain and how that works. Right now, a lot of AI research seems to be drawing from neuroscience to kind of improve AI. could eventually, building stuff like this, building the chips, building the neural nets, could that give more data back to neuroscience, kind of breakthroughs in AI, sort of these discoveries in AI that are breakthroughs in neuroscience? But the point, I think, is keep that name RAIN in mind, RAIN Neuromorphics. They are in San Francisco. They're a short walk, it sounds like, from the OpenAI offices, and Sam Altman invested in that company a while back. Also, RAIN received a small seed investment from venture unit of Chinese search engine Baidu, apparently without problems, but the larger Saudi investment attracted significant concerns. So again, if you recall, the Department of the US government overseeing these investments, they killed the deal after it seems like it was made, and then they killed it and actually reversed the money flow. And the attorneys who regularly work in these deals, they said that divestment itself has been quite rare over the last 20 years. So sort of taking that money, giving it back, forcefully refunding people, it's been rare. And so OpenAI likely needs to find partners with deep-pocketed backers if it's to gain control over its hardware needs. And competitors Amazon and Google have spent years developing their own custom chips for AI projects. And Altman has refused to rule out OpenAI making its own chips, but that too would require significant funding. But keep in mind, so this article was from December 3rd. And as you saw in the first clip, Sam Altman saying, I'm paraphrasing, but he's saying, the media kind of twisted what happened. And this wasn't his sort of own soul quest or Sam project, as he referred to it as. This wasn't his own thing that he was trying to make money by sort of trading off of OpenAI's name to kind of get these lucrative investment deals, which I remember seeing articles that strongly implied that. I don't remember where, but there were articles saying that, criticizing him, saying, why is he off chasing, money from Aramco, from Saudi Arabia, when his focus should be on OpenAI? And his stance was, well, this was an OpenAI project. The board approved the project, and he was there on behalf of OpenAI. And then this article drops within the last 24 hours. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is still chasing billions to build AI chips. So Sam Altman is trying to raise billions to develop a network of factories for fabrication that would stretch around the globe and involve working with unnamed top chip manufacturers. Now, majority of the chips for the whole world, specifically these sort of advanced AI chips, at least, a few years ago, 5-10 years ago, something like 96% of them were made here in Taiwan. And of course, mainland China is not that far away from Taiwan. There's a lot of tension there, right? So I think the US government, I think a lot of people are sort of eyeing this area very carefully. If a war got started right here, that would really, really suck for the entire world. And that's why you see such a big push in the US by the government as well as the big tech firms to go build their own chips. So Amazon, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, they're all kind of swimming in that direction, trying to develop their own chips, specifically these AI chips. There's these huge shortages. That's why you see a lot of these companies like Google, Mark Zuckerberg the other day coming out bragging about his, how many GPUs they have. That's kind of like the new status symbol, how much compute you have. So here's the estimated 2023 H100 shipments. So that's the powerful NVIDIA GPU, right? So as you can see here, a lot of people are buying them. Meta and Microsoft are at the top here, but Tesla, TikTok, Lambda, Alibaba, Baidu, CoreWeave, Tencent, Oracle, Amazon, Google. These things are a big deal. They're scarce. NVIDIA is absolutely killing it, doing really well financially. And so a major cost and limitations for running AI models is having enough chips to handle the computation behind tools like ChatGPT or DALL-E. NVIDIA's value rose above $1 trillion for the first time last year, partly due to a virtual monopoly it has on those chips. So according to Bloomberg, Altman had conversations with several large potential investors in hopes of raising the vast sums of money that is needed for chip fabrication plants, or fabs, as they're colloquially called. And so firms that have held discussions with Altman include Abu Dhabi-based G42 and SoftBank Group. The project would involve working with top chip manufacturers, and the network of fabs would be global in scope. Altman's concern is that as AI becomes more pervasive, there won't be enough chips for widespread deployment. And it also looks like Sam Altman told Microsoft about the plan, and Microsoft is interested in participating in some way. And G42, there are calls by key US lawmakers for restrictions and and scrutiny on those companies. And so they're raising concerns about G42's relationship with blacklisted Chinese companies like Huawei, Beijing Genomics Institute, as well as risks to research at US universities. So it seems like this battle's still going on. Sam Altman is still trying to develop those chips. Now, they didn't refer to the chip here as far as I can tell. So they didn't say if it was RAIN Neuromorphic or not. So we don't know if it's those same chips or not, but it sounds like it could be those specific chips, or maybe they're trying to develop something else. But it sounds like Sam Altman is very focused on getting more chips developed, because it sounds like he's saying by the end of the decade, we're going to be in trouble if we don't start ramping up our production quite a bit. But what do you think? Do you think Sam Altman's doing the right thing? Are you concerned that perhaps there's some shadowy players that he's trying to raise money from that could cause problems? Or maybe you think the opposite. Maybe you think the US is overreaching by blocking these sorts of deals. Let me know in the comments. My name is Wes Roth. Thank you for watching.